Hi, here we are in your document, and we want to put in a graphic today. I'm going to show you three different ways to put in a graphic. Nobody's going to know which way you use, just want you to know that there's three possibilities and some of the added features and things that you can do once you've got that graphic in your document. So you've formatted it all the ways you're supposed to. You followed the directions, you are on top of things. And then they throw you this curveball. You've got to insert a picture of a squirrel. Maybe you're talking about squirrels. Maybe the teacher likes squirrels. Maybe you're typing that word today. Who knows? You got to put in a graphic of some sort. A graphic is any kind of an image that you find. That could be a diagram, it could be a chart, it could be a piece of clip art, it can be a photograph, it can be something you take and upload, something you find on the web. But somehow you've got to get a graphic in this document. So the most obvious way to do that is up here in the insert menu. Okay, it's the very first option. You can upload it from your computer if you have something. You can search the web, you can put it from Google Drive, you can pull it from Google Photos, you can put in the URL, you could take a picture with your webcam. Any of those options from right here. Now, I don't have a squirrel nearby. I don't know the URL. I don't have one in Photos. Pretty sure I don't have one in Drive. I'm going to search the web. When I do that, the pop-up comes up over here. I'm going to type in squirrel, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to get all of these possible squirrels. So you pick whichever one it is that suits your purposes. As you scroll around looking for an interesting one, you're going to see all kinds of different squirrels. Hopefully, you're just going to see squirrels. You may see groundhogs, you may see statues of them, you may see flying squirrels, you may see squirrel feeders, you're going to see a squirrel on a power line. Here's a graph, here's all kinds of stuff. So you want to pick something that suits your purposes, that you want to look at, that your teacher's going to be impressed with. I'm going to pick this first one. It's got a nice bushy tail. When you click on that picture once, down here at the bottom, it says, I can move me, one selected, insert. You can click right there, it'll insert. You can also just double click on it and it will insert it to wherever your cursor was. Now, my cursor was in the middle of all that I just typed. And I've got this huge squirrel that has taken over my page. I don't want that. So I'm going to look at the sizing handles. It's these blue squares at various points all around the picture. And I'm going to take the corner. Very important that you crop it and move it from the corner. I still have the same picture. It's just a little smaller and more manageable for the document I want to put it in. I'm not stretching and skewing it and making it look like something at the circus. I want it to still look like my squirrel. I just want it smaller. So I'm going to take it from the corners. Very important that you crop it from the corners. Once you've got it in a manageable size, you'll see three options here at the bottom of it. Inline means it's in line with the text. It inserted it right here in the middle of the word asked, and it's in line. Nothing is moving around it. It's not top to bottom. It's just here, kind of in the way. This looks kind of bizarre to me. And you can click and drag it if you want to, but it's still going to have all this awkward space around it. That's in line. If that suits your purposes, leave it alone. If it doesn't, you can go to the next option, which is wrap text, and that's going to wrap the text around your graphic. And you can move it and get it right up here tight with the word squirrel or wherever it is that you want it. And you've got some more freedom to move it around. The next and last option with your photo is here with break text. And when you break text, that means it's got a line above it and a line below it. The text is broken around your graphic. It's a look. It may be what you're instructed to do. It may suit what you wanted it to be. But there's your three options. Next to that, you'll notice that you can determine how much of a margin there is around it. How much white space do you want around that thing? Maybe you don't want any. You want it nice and tight around it. You say 0 margin. The default was 1/8 of an inch, which as you can see, I think looks pretty good. We can see why that's the default. It works. Okay, so it's the first way to put in a graphic. The next way is right up here on the toolbar. This is what I usually do because I look at the toolbar. We've got all the same options you'll notice, but it's up here on the toolbar and it looks like a couple of mountains. You click on it, it's going to open the same interface that we were just at over here on the side for upload from the computer if we wanted to. I don't have anything. Or where we just were, let's search the web. You search the web for a squirrel, you'll end up with the same search list of squirrels. Yay us. I'll pick this black one on a tree branch. It's going to insert it. I'm going to select it, crop it from the corners, because I absolutely don't need it to be this big. For some reason, I can't get my cursor to show up so that I can do that. There it is. See the double-sided arrow? You can tell that it's moving that picture, changing the size of that picture. Now, one of the things you can do from right within the program, let's pick wrap text on this one because we can. You can crop the picture from right here. If you'll select it, you can double click on it and get to these black lines. You can also select this crop image up here on the toolbar. And this is going to let me crop out the parts of this that I don't need. Maybe I don't want this tree branch. Maybe I really want this picture to be a square because that's the space I've got. From there, I've cropped it. I can go back and undo that if I want to, but I can put it right here. There's my squirrel. Okay, the last way that you can insert a picture is right down here in the corner. That's the Explore tab. You click on that. It's going to know what you've been typing about in some cases, which is kind of interesting. Knows that I wrote graphics and diagram and squirrel. So I'm going to click on squirrel. It gives me results from the web about squirrels, Wikipedia articles, and so on and so forth. It's also going to give me images, and it's going to give me anything I have in Google Drive about a squirrel. Now, this is last year's assignment to insert a squirrel, so I don't need those. I'm going to look at images again, and I'm going to pick a different squirrel, but I'm going to recognize lots of these pictures. I'll pick this close up. Now, from here, when you open it up, it's going to ask you for sure if you want to insert it. It tells you where that picture came from and what kind of permissions you have. Okay, with some modifications, this is labeled for commercial use. Only select images that you've confirmed you have permission to use. It's just a good warning. I do want this one, so I'm going to click Insert. It's going to insert it into my document. Once again, it's huge, so I'm going to take hold of that corner and make him a little smaller and a little smaller still. And with this little guy, as I wrap text, move him around, I don't want him on top of the other one. I want him here in the middle. With this one, I'll show you one more thing. I can put a nice border around him or her, my squirrel. 3-point line right up here. Also change the color to something that looks a little more like the rest of what I'm doing, maybe. Maybe my color scheme's blue, and I can put it to some kind of blue or gray or whatever it is you want. Again, when you select him, you can change the kind of a line. You can change the width of the line. You can change the color of the line. And again, you want to be consistent so that everything on your page looks like it goes together. And that's easy enough to do. It doesn't have to be big and loud and screaming at you, look, I did this. But it can be a nice way to set off your graphics. And you'll see when I moved that one, I moved him funny. And so he's a white space at the bottom of that. See how I did that? Not good. So I'm going to move the picture back down where it fills up the space that I cropped. And now I've got my 3 squirrels with their 2-point, nice gray little lines. See, that one's not the same color, but I can fix that because I care enough to go back and get them to where they look the same. So 3 ways to insert your graphic. Doesn't matter which way you use, so long as you realize that all 3 of them are absolutely viable. You've got settings under each of these, cropping capabilities, lines you can use, image options if you really want to go there. You can recolor it, change the transparency, change it to look really kind of interesting, if that's what you're trying to go for. Okay, so insert images and use the features that you have available. Make something that looks cool. Enjoy.